What's up, everybody? This is the Unstuck Podcast, and I'm your host, Drew Koss. Have you ever wondered why certain people can be disciplined and certain people cannot? How they can just pick something up and never stop doing it, and you can't? I have your answer today. Come along for the journey. So today we want to talk about how discipline actually looks, how it feels. What is it in its entirety? Discipline is actually still motivation. It's just motivating yourself to delay an outcome until you've achieved something else. So let's just say we use discipline when it comes to weight loss often. So let's use it for that. And then we'll give some other examples. When it comes to weight loss, we see discipline as I'm never going to eat chocolate cake again. That's a lie. I'm never going to eat candy ever again. That's a lie, and you don't have to do that. But what we want to do instead is I'm going to train myself to have self-control, to not eat the cake every day. Maybe I'll have a slice on Saturday or something like that. When I used to compete in bodybuilding, we would eat the same exact things Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then on Saturday, if we made our weight that we were supposed to make for that week, on Saturday, we would have what was called a cheat meal, not a day, a cheat meal. And then that meal, it was usually going out to eat so you can change the scenery. And it was usually something like Red Robin. And you would have your burger. You could have unlimited fries because you weren't going to eat unlimited fries because your stomach was going to fill up so fast. And you could have soda. The cool thing about this whole process was you got so regimented and eating the same things that discipline kicked in around week 3. And it was more so now a habit. So we would eat the same thing Sunday through Saturday night. Saturday night, you have the meal, and then you go back on Sunday. By the time you got back to Sunday, you felt you wanted to go back into your regimen. Because now it became a part of your life, it became your lifestyle, and it became a habit that you were willing to actually keep doing. So that's tip number 1. How can I make this a habit? How can I make this a habit? I don't need to make it something that I'm grinding out every single day, every single hour, because I'll usually stop doing it. So how can I make this thing a habit? The easiest way to make something a habit is to start really, really small. If I wanted to make reading a book a habit, I don't need to start maybe with 10 to 20 pages a day. Maybe I need to start off with 1 page a day. As simple as that sounds, and as crazy as that sounds, because I can hear somebody saying right now, Drew, if you only read 1 page a day, it's going to take you forever to read a book. If you're not reading at all right now, you're already doing better than you were. I want to keep it small. And the reason why I want to keep it small is because I'd rather increase intensity or increase consistency rather than always having to decrease because I went too hard too soon. I've seen this in the gym for my 13 years of training people. I've seen this all the time. Coach, I'm starting off with 5 days a week. And I'd be like, you're coming from doing none. You probably should start off with like 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. But start small. So the first thing with the discipline is I want to think, how can I make this habit small so that I keep doing it and that I enjoy it? The second thing I'm always going to say is be accountable to somebody or with somebody who has already done the goal. That's different than you picking your bestie to be accountable to who's in the same boat that you're in. That's probably not going to be well for you. When I tell people or I suggest to people to make better content, I always say, be accountable to somebody who's already consistent at it. Be accountable to a coach. Why? Because they're going to hear the excuses you want to give, or they're going to see roadblocks ahead of time and warn you. If someone's telling me, I'm having trouble making videos, and I'm asking, how many are you making a week? I'm trying to do 5 a day, coach. Let's lessen it to 1 maybe. Let's build the muscle. So I'm going to say be accountable to someone who's already achieved the goal. Or if you can't find somebody who's already achieved the goal, Be accountable to someone who's really good at sticking to things. When people try to go get better with, if it's content, if it's the weight room, if it's reading, whatever it is, they usually pick somebody who's on the same level as them because they really want someone to tell them an excuse so that they can get out of it. So, number one, you guys remember what number one was? I can't hear you. What was it? Number one is make the habit small so that you can actually do it. Number two is have an accountability partner or a coach so that you can actually stay the course. It's so much easier. It's so much easier doing it with somebody on the journey who has already been on the journey. If I was going to a foreign country, when people usually travel to foreign countries, they hire what's called a tour guide. Why? The tour guide has already scouted out the land. They know where things are at. They know how to get there a lot quicker than you taking your map or your iPhone and just trying to figure things out. And the last letter I'll give you guys, or last thing I would say, we'll start with the letter R. Reward. What gets rewarded gets repeated. What gets rewarded gets repeated. So I know for a fact if I'm struggling to stay consistent with something, let's say I'm struggling to stay consistent with shooting a video every day. If I set up a reward for myself, maybe at the end of the week or maybe after a certain amount of videos, it's a little bit easier because now I've reinforced the habit. I reinforced that I was accountable to somebody or something that helped me. And then now I'm rewarding the efforts. This is important when you're trying to become disciplined in any area. You want to reward the efforts. Why do I want to reward the efforts, Drew? Because the efforts is what's going to turn into discipline, which turns into habit, which turns into your lifestyle. If you don't reward the effort and you just reward good works, what will happen is when it's time for you to approach something new or it's time for you to do something else in that lane that's not coming natural to you, you won't do it. So for me as a content coach, one thing I teach people is when you're making videos, don't look for your videos to be good immediately. Look to build the muscle to always show up. Look to build the muscle to look the camera in the eye. Look to build the muscle to find out how to change your voice or to slow down or to speed up. Look for those things because you can control those things. And if you find those things are happening, reward those things. The rewards can be whatever you choose it to be. I'm not going to tell you you can't eat cake or you can't go buy a drone. That's up to you and your family. I want to reward myself. So let's go back over those letters. H is habit. I want to make the habit small so that I keep doing it. A is accountability. A is probably the most important one. I want to be accountable to somebody or something that has done it before or has a lot of success in some area. And then the last one, R, reward. Now, for the takeaway, I want to give you a small challenge. I want you to write down what is it that you're aiming to become disciplined at. And I'm going to use weight loss again because that's usually what people say around January. And I want you to write down what has stopped you in the past. Write down what has stopped you in the past. Number two, write down what are the possible roadblocks that could come up with this goal. What are the possible roadblocks that could come up with this goal? And then number three, I want you to write down what can you do when the roadblocks come up. It's not if they're going to come up, it's when they come up. If you can approach it now looking at something might happen to deter me, I don't have to go into this thing blind or I don't have to be blindsided when something happens. If I can just go into it knowing that some roadblocks are going to come, some things are going to trip me up. I've known in the past some things have tripped me up, so let's just look for those things. Now, when you start to build the habit, when you get accountable to somebody, when you start the reward system, you're going to realize it's a lot easier than anybody just aiming at it without a plan. So I want you to let me know, did this help you? If it did, leave me a comment and just share this so we can help more people become great and get unstuck in their life. If it didn't help you, let me know what you were looking for, and I can find you an answer probably within a year. Get unstuck, guys, and be great.